month in Compass Club, we strive to come up with some sort of challenge or course or program or something that really hits a specific pain point for what affects you when you're trying to lose weight, different challenges that come up, and we try to come up with ways to help you circumvent those challenges and help make it more fun. There are two things that you have available to you right away as soon as you sign up for Compass Club. One of those is the Jumpstart that talks about how to lose consistently in a healthy, comfortable way. And while you, again, might have done plenty of other diets and programs, and there might be other things from those that you find work for you and you want to implement, if you are confused and you're not quite sure how to just stick with something that's super simple, this is for you. This is the thing that you can walk through, step by step, and find different ways to think about the scale, to think about your weight, and to practice healthy, consistent, long-term lifestyle goal weight loss practices. It's good for anyone to listen to, even if you are a consistent dieter, even if you know exactly what you need to do. It's just always good for a refresh. So even if you are pretty comfortable and confident you know what to do, this is a good course for you. The next thing that you have access to as soon as you get in your dashboard and in the back end of your portal is the 7 reasons that the scale isn't moving and what to do about it course. And you'll hear me talk about these 7 things all of the time, and I'll continue to reference them here in different episodes and in the Facebook group. And that is why I've outlined them step by step in a series of recordings just like this, so you can just play them and listen and go about your day. And it's super easy and simple to hear. And I dive deep into each and every one in this particular course. So right here in this particular episode, I wanted to give you a little taste of that and give you one of the things that tends to keep people from seeing progress on the scale. And especially because right now I'm recording this, it's June, it's summer, a lot of people are traveling, they're going on vacation. Sometimes your schedule is getting a little bit thrown off and different. So I wanted you to listen to some tips on how that can affect the scale. And above all, just knowing this information, keeping it in the back of your mind, make sure that it does not affect your motivation and it doesn't make you stop everything, throw in the towel and say, what I'm doing isn't working. I've got to go find some other program. I've got to go find some other crazy diet, some crazy super restrictive, maybe unhealthy, some sort of thing like that. Or on the other hand, maybe it forces you into the mindset of like, now's not the time. Let me hold off. Let me wait. Let me not do this right now. Any of those things are so much more sabotaging than just understanding that there are different things that are going to slow the progress, not completely eliminate the progress. And in the course, I call them travel delays, because we all understand just because we get in the car to go somewhere and we hit a backup, we don't throw in the towel and say, that's it, forget it, we're not going on vacation. You don't turn around and head home and say, oh well, not gonna happen. Same if you were getting on a plane or a train, it just doesn't matter. If you were traveling to a destination and there was some sort of delay that was fairly minor or even just like some strange setback, 99% of the time, it's not going to be something so serious that you're just going to throw in the towel on your entire destination, that you're going to say, never mind, I'm not going there. Let's just pack it up, go home. So keep in mind that this is the same things happening when the scale is not showing your progress, when you know you're doing everything right. These are the same things happening. They're just delays. They're just stalling what you're seeing, and it's just that number not showing just yet. It doesn't mean it's not going to. It will. And here's why. Listen in to this next little one, and it's going to give you a little tip as far as one of the 7 things that I talk about. And if you want to hear the other 7, please sign up for Compass Club, jump in the back end, and you can listen to the rest. Thanks so much. So for those of you who don't know, I actually have a company that provides social media marketing. And one of the big things that I always tell people when it comes to the services that we provide in that business is that anyone can make a social post. It's really, not impossible. It's not difficult. The challenge for keeping your social running the correct way is the consistency. And truly, that is the challenge in most problems that you're trying to solve. It definitely applies to weight loss as well. If you could just for one solid week make your life perfect, get 3 hours of exercise a day and eat perfectly and just be done with your whole entire weight loss game, you were able to drop 50 pounds in 1 week, we wouldn't have so much of a problem. The challenge comes in when you know that you have to do something for a really long, steady period of time, and you have to keep it consistent because, again, remember, your body recognizes patterns and it's always shifting to try to maneuver around those patterns. And especially when you're trying to create weight loss on the scale, consistency is key. And that's why it's so important to set your goals and not set your goals in a manner that are actually accessible, not set your goals too high, too lofty, and then shake yourself up, throw yourself for a loop, and discourage yourself. Because over the long run, are you going to be able to stick with jumping on the treadmill for an hour every single day and eating nothing but chicken and broccoli every single day? Most likely no. So don't plan for that. What can you do not only that is going to support your weight loss goals, but what is feasible consistently? And then that's when we chip away and we slowly maneuver in other small little changes, small little consistent things that you can easily maneuver into your habits and your routines day in and day out, so that you develop a system that is going to help you lose over the long run and know how you've gotten there so you can stay there. So why do I bring all this up today? It's because that is something I want to point out that can also cause fluctuations on the scale. Say, for example, you get your routine in place, you walk a certain amount every day, you eat a certain amount every day, you eat certain things every day. Your body recognizes that and it develops that routine. And at first, it really locks into that pattern. So the more consistent you can keep it, the more similar every single day you can keep it, the more your body is able to then just go, oh, okay, get that metabolism, that fire burning hot and bright, knowing what to expect, being comfortable you're going to give it enough food, being comfortable you're going to get X amount of activity, exercise steps every day, and you start to lose. Now, yes, there are situations where you do hit a plateau after a while when you have done something for so long, your routine has been so consistent that your body basically starts to work itself into counterbalancing your efforts. But this is not what we're talking about today. Today we're talking about when you've got that routine on track, you've got it flowing, and then bam, something crazy happens. Maybe it's just a weird day. Maybe it's a celebration that day, it's a birthday, it's a party, it's an event, it's something that messes up your typical routine. You don't get a chance to get your walk, or your foods are all out of whack. You didn't get to eat breakfast, you had to skip it, and then you had to eat a big lunch, or all you had available was high calorie foods. Just remember that your body has gotten kind of lockstepped into that routine that you've been giving it for a really long time, and it's then going to kind of have a little hiccup. It's going to grab onto some water weight. It's going to try to stop and think like, ooh, what's going on here? What's happening? What's this new thing happening? How do I have to kind of shift to try to, get used to this new situation? And you'll even notice this, for example, most of the time, this is, why I always say weigh on Fridays. If you have a 9-to-5 job, or if you have a 5-day-a-week, Monday through Friday job, most likely your most consistent days are Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And so by Friday, you've now had the longest amount of consistent days in a row that everything was as close to the same as possible. That's why I always expect Friday is going to give you your best bet for weighing in. If your schedule is something different and there's another chunk of days that's consistent for you, weigh at the very last day of that consistent chunk. But then we know that the weekends tend to be crazy different, maybe in a good way. Maybe you can finally get more exercise, activity, sleep, whatever it is that helps support your weight loss goals. But either way, it's different. And so that is why you might see the scale look a little funky on Saturday, on Sunday, and then again on Monday, which is again why I insist on, if you are someone who gets really anxious about the scale, only check it every Friday. Only give yourself, stack the deck in your favor. Make sure you have as many consistent days under your belt before you check the scale. So that is one thing that I like to bring up when it comes to when you go to get on the scale. What day is it? What has your routine been like? Have you just had a day where it completely threw your consistent routine through a loop? That will most likely be showing up on the scale, and that's okay. Just knowing that might be the case, prepare yourself mentally for it and know that's what it is. Try not to get frustrated. And even if something is like moving in the right direction, like I know on days where my body is perfectly used to X amount of activity, so on days that I do like crazy more activity, remember how we talked about how your muscles get physically swollen? Say, for example, I get, twice the amount of steps, or I do like a really strenuous exercise, or it's just a really crazy day with tons of walking. Maybe you go to an amusement park or something like that, and it's just like off the chain different. Even if that is crazy different in a good way, it still is going to make your body just take a minute and say, whoa, what is this? What's going on? And you're going to see maybe something funky on the scale, something maybe again reflecting water weight, that it's just confused, like, hey, what's going on? Maybe it's reflecting again your muscles being, swollen, sore, or getting just so much exercise and activity that it's just still processing everything. It takes a while for everything to sort of settle down, process, and finally show. So keep this in mind on the regular weird days, on the weekends, anytime your schedule's inconsistent. And that then brings up the concept of traveling. Traveling is huge, and you may have noticed a lot of other ways that traveling tends to mess with your system, especially if you have any consistent bathroom routines. Again, your body is used to day in and day out sleeping at the same times, roundabout, in the same way, in the same bed, eating the relatively same foods. And then you sort of get in a routine of when you go to the bathroom, and then when you travel, your sleep schedule is disrupted. Your foods are completely different. Your stress levels are probably affected trying to get from one place to another for whatever reason you're traveling. All of this affects not only the scale, but everything. It can affect, obviously your routine of going to the bathroom. I know people who consistently pack fiber pills or something like that to help keep, their rhythm nice and consistent there when they're traveling. But knowing that it does throw everything for a loop for you, know that it's going to do the same thing for the scale. I would recommend not checking the scale while you were away and traveling, especially because if you remember the talk that we had about the scale, if you caught So if you've listened to the module or the podcast where we talked about the scale, we talked about the fact that you should never compare different scales. And if you're traveling, I seriously doubt you are traveling with your home scale packed in your bags. So don't go checking a scale somewhere else and then compare the two numbers. It's going to be drastically different. Every single scale is calibrated differently. You're going to be in a different location with different foods, different water, different everything. Just go ahead, finish your travels, and then come home, get your consistency back on track, get your body back to where it's comfortable, it's used to your routine. Then go ahead and see the damage. Go see what happened. If maybe you still lost, maybe you gained, but don't jump on the scale the moment you get home, see a gain and think it's an actual fat gain. It most likely is water weight. It's most likely your body just reacting to the changes in the schedule. And once you get your habits, your routines, your foods, and your bathroom routine back on track, you're most likely going to drop right back down and get right back on to your normal, regular schedule. So is this to say, and I've had clients who travel a lot for work, is this to say you're never going to make progress if you travel a lot? No, not at all. It's just to say that it is then that much more important for you when you check the scale, to know what you're looking at, to understand what you're seeing. When your schedule is completely flip-flop and erratic and your consistency is all over the place, so is the number on the scale. So just knowing that you're going to have to try to find chunks of time that you can get things as consistent as possible, or just build that right into your crazy schedule, trying to get X amount of sleep, trying to get your calorie intake to be very similar or with very similar foods every day. It's difficult, yes, but the more that you can show your body this regular, everyday, very similar routine, the more it's going to be comfortable enough to then start to let go and start to show you that progress on the scale. So keep in mind, when your routine is out of whack, when you are traveling. Oh, and another thing, if you do travel by plane, that is another time when you can see a huge amount of water weight on the scale. When you fly, it actually causes bloating, and it can show as all kinds of, like, I've seen people actually the next day after they fly show anywhere from 5 to 10 pounds. Like, it's crazy. And it's just because when people are traveling, the cabin moisture is low. They can become dehydrated. You tend to drink less water when you're on the plane because you don't want to go get in line for the bathroom, and so on and so forth. Your body recognizes all this. It recognizes that you're in a unique situation. Again, it probably comes along with some sort of stress, getting through the airport, getting on the plane, making sure that you're catching your flight on time. All of these things are causing water retention. So do not, I forbid you, check the scale after you get off a plane, unless you're just purely curious and you just want to see, like, I wonder how much it actually shows up because of this water retention. But if you check it, you see an up, just know that that's what it is. Take a deep breath, drink some water, get your habits back on track, and then wait for that big flush. It will come.